The message was only 3 words long. Do it tonight. It was sent from a phone that should not have existed. A phone hidden inside a prison cell. A phone used by a man who was locked behind steel doors and concrete walls. By the time police found the message, 2 people on the outside were already dead. And the man who ordered it was still sitting on his bunk, safe inside prison, believing he had one. His name was Daniel Carter. Daniel was serving a long sentence in a maximum security prison in the United States. To most guards, he was quiet and polite. He followed rules. He said yes sir and no sir. He never caused trouble. That was his secret. Troublemakers get watched. Quiet men get ignored. The highest peak of this story happened far away from Daniel's cell. It happened when a detective stared at 2 case files on his desk and felt his stomach drop. 2 different cities. 2 different victims. 2 different nights. But one shared past. Both people had testified against Daniel Carter years earlier. The detective whispered, "That's not possible." Daniel was in prison. Or at least, he was supposed to be. Inside the prison, Daniel lay on his bunk that same night, staring at the ceiling. His cell was clean. His shoes were lined up. His hands rested on his chest. He looked peaceful. That image would later haunt everyone who saw it. Because while he lay there, the message he sent was already moving through the world. Daniel did not start out powerful. Before prison, he was angry and reckless. He made bad choices. He hurt people with words and actions. When he was arrested, many believed that was the end of his story. They were wrong. Prison did not change Daniel. It trained him. At first, prison was hard. Noise everywhere. Rules he didn't understand. People testing him. Daniel learned quickly that strength was not about fists. It was about information. He listened more than he spoke. He learned who cleaned which hallways. Who worked which shifts. Who carried keys. He noticed how things moved. How messages traveled. How rules bent when no one was watching. Low moments came often. Long nights. Lonely days. Endless waiting. Daniel hated feeling trapped. So he found ways to reach beyond the walls. It started small. Passing notes through other inmates. Sending greetings through family members. Asking simple questions that sounded harmless. Is Mike still around? Did anyone hear from Lisa? Nothing that raised alarms. Over time, those messages became clearer. Daniel never said dangerous words. He used code. Fix the problem. Take care of it. Make sure it doesn't come back. People on the outside understood. Money moved quietly. Small amounts. Clean transfers. Nothing that pointed back to a prison cell. Guards searched Daniel's cell many times. They found nothing. No weapons. No notes. No phone. That made him invisible. On the outside, the first death shocked a small town. The victim was quiet. No enemies. No warnings. Police were confused. They looked at neighbors. Old arguments. Random chance. They didn't look at a prison. Weeks later, the second death happened. Different place. Same pattern. That's when someone noticed the name. Daniel Carter. Back inside prison, Daniel felt calm. He believed in distance. He never met the people who followed his orders. He never touched anyone. He never left his cell. That made him feel untouchable. The low point for investigators came when they realized how clean everything looked. No clear calls. No direct orders. No weapons tied back. Just silence. Then a mistake happened. Not Daniel's. Someone else's. A guard noticed something odd during a routine check. A shelf that sat a little too high. A bolt that looked newer than the rest. He tapped it. Hollow. Behind the metal, taped carefully and wrapped in plastic, was a phone. Small. Clean. Charged. The guard froze. When investigators opened the phone, they saw messages. Short ones. Cold ones. And one message stood out. Do it tonight. The room went silent. Everyone understood what that meant. This wasn't just rule breaking. This was murder ordered from inside a prison. Daniel was taken from his cell that afternoon. For the first time in years, he looked surprised. Not scared. Just surprised. As he was walked down the hallway, an inmate whispered, "They got you." Daniel didn't answer. Because even then, one question remained. How many orders had already gone out? And how many people might still be in danger? Daniel Carter sat alone in a new cell. This one was different. The walls were thicker. The light was brighter. The camera never blinked. They called it isolation for investigation. Daniel called it temporary. Outside his cell, everything moved fast. The phone was taken apart. Messages were copied. Numbers were traced. Investigators worked day and night. They followed every word Daniel had sent. Every pause. Every timestamp. Patterns began to appear. The messages were short on purpose. Daniel never wrote names. Never wrote places. Never wrote clear orders. He thought that made him safe. Handle it. Fix the problem. Do it tonight. To him, that was enough. On the outside, detectives went back to the first crime scene. They asked new questions. Who called the victim that day? Who sent money recently? Who showed up late at night? Someone talked. Not much. But enough. Daniel's calm did not last. He was questioned again. 2 agents sat across from him. They did not shout. They did not threaten. They showed him pictures. Phone screens. Bank records. Faces of people already arrested. Daniel leaned back. "That doesn't prove anything," he said. He believed it. The low moment came for the agents. Because Daniel was right about one thing. Nothing alone proved everything. The chain was long. And Daniel was far away from the end of it. Back in the prison, rumors spread. Someone got a phone. Someone ordered hits. Feds are watching. Other inmates stayed away from Daniel's door. Power like that brings danger. Then a guard broke. He was not a bad man. Just a weak one. He admitted passing messages. Not orders, he said. Just notes. He said Daniel never asked him to hurt anyone. He said he didn't know. His hands shook when he spoke. That was a high moment for investigators. Not the truth, but a crack in the wall. The guard explained how it worked. Messages hidden in laundry. Numbers passed during cleaning shifts. Time windows when cameras were busy. Daniel had built a system. Quiet. Patient. Careful. Still, Daniel believed he could escape this. Until the call. Technicians recovered audio from the phone. One short voice note. Daniel's voice. Clear. Calm. No more delays, he said. If it's done tonight, it's better. When the agents played it in the interview room, Daniel's face changed. Just a little. Enough to notice. That could mean anything, his lawyer said later. But everyone in the room knew. This was no accident. More arrests followed on the outside. People Daniel trusted turned on each other. Not out of guilt. Out of fear. Then came the worst discovery. A new message. Sent 2 days before the phone was found. Another problem. Another plan. Another person. Investigators rushed. They didn't know if the order had already reached someone. They didn't know if it was too late. Daniel was placed under total lockdown. No visits. No calls. No messages. For the first time, he had no reach. Daniel sat on his bunk that night, staring at the wall. He told himself this would pass. That he had planned for everything. That distance would protect him. But far away, police cars raced through dark streets. A house was surrounded. Lights flashed. A door was kicked open. As chapter ends, one question hangs in the air. Did investigators arrive in time? Or had Daniel Carter's final order already been carried out? The door was broken down just in time. Police rushed inside the house with weapons raised, shouting commands. A man was pulled from a back room, shocked and shaking. On a table nearby sat a phone, still glowing. The order had not been carried out. Someone had hesitated. Someone had waited. That pause saved a life. That was the highest peak of the story. Investigators moved fast after that. The phone was seized. Messages were matched. Times lined up perfectly. The chain was complete now. Daniel Carter's final order had been stopped only hours before it would have turned into another death. Daniel was brought in for one last interview. No small talk. No patience left. They played the voice note again. His voice filled the room. No more delays. If it's done tonight, it's better. Daniel stared at the table. For the first time, he said nothing. An agent leaned forward. "You almost got away with it," he said. "But almost doesn't count." Daniel's shoulders dropped. Not in fear. In understanding. The court case moved quickly. Evidence stacked high. Phone records. Audio files. Witness statements. Confessions from people on the outside. Daniel's distance no longer protected him. It exposed him. His lawyer argued that Daniel never touched anyone. Never left his cell. Never held a weapon. The judge listened. Then shook his head. "Control does not require hands," the judge said. Daniel Carter was found guilty. Not only for ordering murders, but for running them. From a prison cell. The sentence was final. No parole. No reduced time. Daniel was moved to a federal facility designed to stop communication completely. No phones. No favors. No influence. Just walls and silence. On his first night there, Daniel lay on his bunk. The room was smaller. The rules were tighter. There was nothing to plan. Nothing to control. Outside, families of the victims spoke. Some cried. Some stayed quiet. One person said something simple. He thought prison would hide him. The guard who helped him was sentenced too. He said he never meant for anyone to die. But the court reminded him of something important. Helping harm is still harm. Prisons across the state changed procedures. More searches. More monitoring. More limits on staff access. Because one quiet inmate had shown how dangerous silence could be. Daniel Carter almost got away with it. For years. He ordered deaths from behind locked doors and believed distance made him untouchable. It didn't. This story did not end with chaos. It ended with proof. With systems closing in. With one last door locking shut. And that is the true story. Of the prisoner who ordered murders from his cell. And how, in the end, the walls he trusted became the place where his control finally ended.